Okay, it's the round 15 Sunday match that we're looking at today. There's a few updates that I've made that I'll probably go through on this call, particularly the points betting one afterwards. But what I've done is I've put all the teams in. I've had a look at the injury lists and the team list as well, and taken some notes. So if you have a look at the two games today briefly, first game is Collingwood versus Adelaide. Jeremy Howe's back in. Sure, that's going to do a hell of a lot. Side bottom, the Goey remain out, which is still good for guys like Taylor Adams and Tom Mitchell in particular, and Pendlebury getting more on ball time with those guys out. Tom Doedee is out again for Adelaide, which is good for Smith and Worrell. Worrell in particular, his numbers really fell away when Doedee came back, so that's one to watch. Also, that game is at the MCG. Weather, maybe rain, maybe not. I don't trust the forecast anymore. I don't think it's going to have a major impact, and that's a bit of a points neutral ground anyway. Actually, before I carry on, what do we know about that is that both of these teams really restrict opposition, as you can see here, like red, 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 red everywhere. So, not sure how that's going to actually play out when they play each other, because someone needs to get the ball, but they both like to have the ball. So there's certainly not going to be a major beneficiary. Well, there might be, but we're not predicting, crazy overs on their general averages. If you go to the Gold Coast Hawthorn game, that's being played at H-Bank. H-Bank weather is great, 26 and sunny. All should move to the Gold Coast. There's a tendency for forwards to have points reduced there. Probably just a lower scoring ground in general. It's probably due to the lower amount of goals that are scored there. Hawthorn haven't played at H-Bank, so their standard practices are that they don't do much to anyone other than the forwards that they give up a few extra points to. You can see that when Gold Coast play there, they actually really reduce the forward scoring. And otherwise, it's relatively neutral in terms of their impact. So the summary of the two games today is that the only one that may be the major beneficiary are the Gold Coast forwards, but there's not really anyone that you really love to pick there anyway. So probably want to stay away from Adelaide and Collingwood guys unless they're really high value. Certainly not going to be skewing everyone to that game. The other thing is Sicily's out again, I think for some stupid suspension. That means that the guys like Weddle, Hardwick and Scrimshaw are going to take up that slack with the loose ball back there. The other thing is Jarman Impey's been on fire, which we'll touch on in a second. So he's been given a bump because it hasn't quite translated through to his projection yet. He's moved to the wing, is the key there. Also, Ellis is in and they've dropped Atkins. Now, Rory Atkins was getting cheap shit ball in the back line, which means that's probably going to get picked up by Ellis and also by guys like McPherson and Will Powell. If we go through, I've made a number of adjustments here, and it's very important. So I'll just run through them quickly. Okay, so Brandon Ellis, as I said, giving him a bump of 5, just taking him up to about 60, which is probably reasonable. He might actually go, to be honest, I expect him to probably get a bit better than that because he was sort of coming off injuries and things like that. Still probably not pickable. Hoskin Elliott, I gave him a bump. He's getting affected by this 18 here. He's probably more of a 60 kind of guy, and he actually is somewhat viable to select. Wayne Miller, why did you get a bump? Because some of these Adelaide guys get a bump, particularly defenders, because they smacked the shit out of West Coast. I mean, the ball, they didn't touch the ball in the back line. So Smith and Miller in particular have been given bumps there of 10. Mainly for that reason, because that game there has really dragged them down. There's also the Doedee factor as well that will help them. Taylor Adams, you can see here, really upped his output lately. This is with the Goey out. So I pushed him up to 89, makes him good value with a 10 bonus. Pendlebury similarly. He's actually dropped off a little bit, to be honest, but I might actually take that off him because I think he was getting time there anyway. Probably not selectable today. Tom Mitchell's the other one, really getting going now. I might give him a 10. That's De Goey being out is causing that. Carl Amon with Sicily out. He's had a bit every second game he gets 68 and then he gets 90. So he's probably due for 90 today, to be honest. But I think he's more around the 80 mark there. Impey, as I said, you can see his form line here. He's gone bananas since going to the wing. So he got him tracking at about 102. That's a likely selection. Blake Hardwick is going to benefit from Sicily being out. He's going to become that main kick-in man and ball manager. So we've given him 5. Realistically could have given him 10 almost. Jeremy Howe, we just set him at 60. Probably not pickable. McPherson and Powell just got a 5 bonus for that other guy, Rory Atkins, being out. Mitch Hinge gets a 5 bonus for Duday being out. Scrimshaw is getting the Sicily bonus, we'll call it. Quaynor in good form. That's why I've given him a bit of a bump up. He's probably tracking, we do know that Adelaide is going to stop that defensive possession, so I don't want to put him at an average of, like he's actually averaging 84 over the last 3, but he's going to possibly lose about 11%. So I think that's a reasonable projection. Josh Worrell, again, benefits from Duday being out. You can see 70, 78 there, even though they played West Coast. He's a genuine possible selection, even with that major reduction there. It's interesting. 69, yeah. Mac Andrews played Carlton last week. Just fucking pathetic. He's probably better than that. He's probably worth around 60. That's just why I've tried to finesse him up to 60. Cam McKenzie doesn't really matter anyway, but I think he's getting, that might have been a sub game. I've got to check how this is working. And Josh Weddle, that's the Sicily bonus in particular. He's going to be a prime ball mover back there as well. So now that we've got all those guys in, we can get rid of anyone who's not selected. Oh, I do that. Now we can start to look at the value in this team or in this lineup of players. So I've got a short list here where we're going to mark guys on the side, and the team is going to be built around here. Obviously top 10 by position, and then top 10 overall. So Jarman Impey is the best value player by a significant margin, so I'm just going to put him straight in. And then Tom Mitchell, again, you like putting these guys in because they have the solid projections. Again, Josh Worrell is hard to go past here with that kind of value. I'll just wait on him. Sam Flanders, why? What do we know about Sam Flanders? Midfielder. Okay, Taylor Adams, again, got to be careful we don't overload with Collingwood midfielders against Adelaide just in case they lock them down. So probably want to have one of either Mitchell or Adams, not both. I'm a little bit conscious that we have no ruckman yet, so I might just have a quick look at that. That is always a good place to start. Okay, Darcy Cameron is best value, reasonable projection. Lloyd Meek, and he's playing with Ned Reeves. Let's just check the teams quickly. Are they, wrong one, are they both named? Ned Reeves is actually, okay, gotta be a little bit careful there because we don't know how that's going to work out. Let's see. Adelaide, Riley O'Brien. Looks like Darcy Cameron or Lloyd Meek are the best picks here. Let's just put Cameron in for the moment. Now, gotta be careful because we need someone cheap very soon. So maybe we'll have a look at the forwards and try and find good value, low price there. So Casbolt, this kid has been really good actually. I might just have a quick look at him and make sure that his averages have caught up with what he's actually doing. Yeah, so he's projected at 77. It's about right, but been pretty solid. Don't know much about this kid, but he seems to be scoring every week for some reason. So 54 twice, projected at 51 today. It's maybe he's probably going to have to pick him because we're going to run out of money. The other one that I'm interested in is possibly Will Hoskin-Elliott, just because if you ignore that, he's probably at that price. He's probably quite good, so I'm going to take him as well. And acknowledge that the forwards are a bit shit. We can't really afford Lukosius, even though his form is so good. Let me just have a look at that. 90, 90, 90. Who are they playing? Playing Hawthorn. Maybe you want to think about, put him on the short list. Is that the top row? Yeah. Precocious, put in there. Keep an eye on him. I don't know much about this Sam Flanders either. Actually, he's a midfielder. Let's not worry about him. The other one is we can save some money potentially with Mac Andrew. He cannot play that shit again. Surely, maybe he can, but we'll just keep an eye on that. So we've got 11,000 now to try and deal with these midfielders. Um, so again, Sam Flanders, why are you so highly rated? Let's just see if we can find him. Midfield, Sam. Sam Flanders here. Oh, wow. Oh no, I was looking at the wrong line. He hasn't played forever. So when he did play, he was okay. All right. It's a bit of a so-so pick. Taylor Adams a bit expensive. Bramble is a bit dicey. Carl, geez, there's not much value here. We're going to really struggle now. We almost have to pick someone cheap here, like a Flanders. What is the lineup saying about him? Are you starting? Okay, so we can see his name to start on the forward flank. So hopefully he gets a full game. Might just do a quick check here for Sam Flanders. I could probably check in my own thing, but this is just a bit quicker. What have you been doing? 4 games. Aha. Yeah, if he doesn't get subbed, he's going to go for 60. So we could take a punt on him not getting subbed here and put him in, and that will allow us to pick the other midfielders around him. 13,000 average remaining. Okay. So now we want to get the best value, best scoring midfielders. We're still going to be short. We're still going to need one more good value guy, and it might actually be Taylor Adams. This is tricky now. There's one thing I want to look at, and this is maybe a little bit dicey, but this guy's averaging 116. With that 81 out of there, he's averaging 128. I think he probably needs a bit of a bump. And I only say that because I think I want to pick him. And I've got to be careful I haven't engineered a reason to pick him, but I don't think I have. I think it's actually really good form. We've got 10,000 remaining. We might want to go back and look at the rucks again because there wasn't huge value on Cameron, but he's costing us too much. And maybe we take Lloyd Meek or Ned Reeves. Let's just compare the two. Ned Reeves 50, 70, 50. I actually think Meek's a good player, to be honest. I think Meek is better than Reeves. I'm going to take Lloyd Meek. Tracking at 69, it's about right, maybe even a bit low. But if we put him in there, all of a sudden we now have some money to buy ourselves a midfielder. And we've got 14,300. And the best value midfielder at that price is no one. Fantastic. So let's have a look at projection. Matt Rowell. What do we do? What do we do? We're also, I mean, we've got none of the Hawthorn defenders, unfortunately, which is actually something we called out. Weddle, Hardwick, Scrimshaw. Where is Hardwick? This is going to get tricky. He's good value too. Blake Hardwick. Josh Worrell is much cheaper though. Yeah, we've got a bit of a problem. About to run out of time on this recording, but I'll just pause and pick the last guy before we run out. I've seen it. It's Taylor Adams. You can see him right here on the top value or positions. So we've got 2,000 remaining. So what do we do with that? Okay, so I'm not going to spend that yet. What I'm going to do is make another video now, which releases the Draftstars Cruncher and the points bet stuff. So keep that in mind.